Next in pre-algebra is rounding numbers. Our goal for this lesson is to round whole numbers to the specified place value. Okay, so go ahead and get your math notebook. Let's skip a space and write today's dates. And I'm sure you know how to round numbers. So everything so far really should be review pretty much. I'm hoping this is review. The skill of rounding numbers is a useful tool, and the process is really quite easy. If you go to the grocery store and let's say you have $20 and there's things you have to buy, and you don't have to bring a calculator or paper and pencil and sit there and add everything. You can round everything to the nearest dollar, and you'll know when you get to about $20. Okay, so rounding numbers makes a lot of things very easy. So it's important that we know how to round numbers. Okay, so if I give you a number, let's say I give you the number 5,476. I want to round it to the nearest thousand. Well, which number's in the thousands place? Well, if you think, you know thousand's a comma word. Thousand is that comma word. So this is going to be the thousands place. So we know this is what I want to round it to. Do you remember how to do it? Okay. We look at the number beside it, which is going to be the 4. If 4 is 5 or more, we have to add 1 to this. If 4 is 4 or less, we don't touch it. Okay? Well, 4 is 4 or less, so we're not going to touch 5. So it's going to stay at 5, and everything after it changes to zeros. Okay? So it's going to be 5,000. Let's try another one, just for review, just to jog your memory. My goodness. If I have the number 6,577, and I want to round this to the nearest hundred, first of all, I have to look which number is in the hundreds place. Well, this is in the hundreds place. I want to round it to the hundreds place. Well, I look at you remember what number to look at? Look at the number right beside it, which is 7. 7 is 5 or more, so I have to add 1 to this. So I'm going to have 6,600, and everything after it changes to zeros. Alright, did you remember that? Okay, whenever you're done with your lesson today, you have an alright game you can play. Alright? But let's do some problems real fast. Okay. Let's look at number 1. Now remember, it's important that you stop the tape and try to do these and check it with mine, because that ensures that you understand it. Okay? I want you to round this number to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so I want you to stop the tape and round this to the nearest 1,000. Alright, let's see how we did. First of all, which number's in the thousands place? Well, I know thousand is a comma word, so my number right before the comma is going to be the thousands place. I should have looked at the number right beside it. 1 is 4 or less, so I don't touch the 3. So I just put the 3 and change everything else to zeros. So you should have come up with 3,000. Alright, let's do another one. This one says, it gives me this number. And again, this time it wants you to round it to the nearest 10,000. Okay? So stop the tape and round this number to the nearest 10,000. Alright, let's see how we did. Well, first of all, what number's in the 10,000s place? Well, 1,000 is my comma word, and then I have 10, so the tens place is the 7. So this is the number I'm rounding. If we look at the number beside it, 8, 8 is 5 or more, so I have to add 1 to the 7. That makes it 80. I'm going to change this to an 8. I have to change everything else to zeros, right? So you should have come up with 80,000. Let's try another one. I have 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. And I want this to the nearest 100,000. Okay? So I want you to stop the tape, and I want you to round that to the nearest 100,000. Alright. Well, first of all, which number's in the 100,000s place? Well, 1,000 is my comma, so I know it's going to be one of these numbers. It says 100, so this is the hundreds. There we go. Now, I look at the number beside it. 9 is 5 or more, so I have to add 1 to this. Okay. 9 plus 1 is 10. Now, all the numbers to the right of the number underlined, I have to change to zeros. Right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, and don't forget my comma. Okay? Do you know what that number is? Well, look, what's your second comma word? 1,000. That's a million. So that's 1 million. Okay? Are you getting the hang of this? Okay, let's look at number 7. Number 7 says, it gives me this number, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7. And it wants you to round this to the nearest 1,000. So stop the tape and round that number to the nearest 1,000. Alright, well, let's look at it. Which number's in the thousands place? Well, I know thousands a comma word, so thousands place is going to be the number right beside it. Okay? The number right beside the 3 is a 6. 6 is 5 or more, so you should have added 1 to it. 5, 1, 4, 4. And then everything else we changed to zeros, right? So you should have come up with 5,144,000. Okay? Let's try one more, and then I'll let you do some on your own. Number 9 gives me this number, 11, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 7, and it wants me to round this to the nearest 10. Okay? So go ahead and stop the tape, round that to the nearest 10, and then compare it with mine. Alright, let's look at it. First of all, which number's in the tens place? Well, there's no comma word, so it has to be one of these 3 numbers. 10, I know, is the middle number. Okay. I look at the number right beside it, which is a 7. 7 is 5 or more, so I have to add 1 to it. So I have 5, 5, 7, 8, 9, 1, 1. And I have to change everything after it to a 0. So we should have come up with 11,987,550. Okay? Alright. Go ahead and review your lesson and go ahead and answer the questions. And then you can play your all right game for a little while.